2007, 8, you could see that OTAs, started coming up in India first, the Make My Trip or whatever in this region. And slowly coming into this part of the region, the Indian OTAs coming in with fire. So today, they were the pioneers in Middle East, be it Clear Trip, Make My Trip, or a few others, they run out of business. And now in the later stage, we see OTAs grown in Middle East, and they are trading business. In our region, you see, there is Travel, which is a Saudi one, 2 years plus. And there is one in Kuwait, based out of Kuwait, Rahlat, right, with a reasonably good volume. And, then again you have your Make My Trip, Clear Trip and all, they are based out of India. But they work with some partners here. So I don't consider them as Middle East or Gulf grown OTAs, right? There are a few others who came like e-bookers and z-bookers and all. They came into business and they run out of business. So these two is standing out. Travel is standing out, which is again supported by one of the region's largest travel agency group, which is called Al-Tayar. Okay, so the OTA has a backing of a traditional travel agency, and that's growing. What is the challenges today for OTAs is none of them they make money. They're all focusing on acquiring customers and turnover. What I was told or what I heard and what I made to believe that they are all behind, listing the company somewhere and selling it out and make their money. Well, that's how today business is happening, whether it is Uber and all, they're all, if you see the bottom line, they don't make money, but they are all acquiring customers. So the challenge for OTAs is always there to make money. And, and major expense in OTA, as you know, that the marketing cost. So whether you are out on social media, you have to pay to the Facebooks and, whatever, Snapchats and all, you have to pay to Google, which is all getting expensive. Every keyword is on an auction, which you know how it works. Yeah. And obviously the meta search engines are now dominating, because if you are on a Skyscanner, on a Vigo for their inventory, you need to be out there, then you need to pay 2-3% out there. So your cost, actually you work on a margin on 5%. Now that margin has been shared by, these marketing companies, mainly to put you onto the online. Then another thing is payment gateway was always a challenge. That takes, earlier the payment gateways, even today, they take a reasonable good cost. Based on a volume, you're talking about 1.5 to 1.8% of whatever transactions you made goes into that. But the latest trend being, industry is changing. I'm talking about every day is changing. The latest last week I was reading, the debit card coming into play now. You see, the banks, because all these region, before getting a credit card, every individual has a debit card with them. Okay, now debit card, your transaction cost is much lower. So everybody is promoting debit cards, which is a good scene, because from 1.8 you might end up paying 0.25, 0.30 reasonably. The OTAs will be happy to bring credit card. Then there are so many alternate payment methods coming up, the GooglePays and ApplePays, and they're all making sense. So if you talk about Gulf, that's what my business area, the GCC, the 7 countries there. To put together all the airlines, they say 20% we transact through online. I'm talking about all LCCs and all, 20-21%. I don't know how much I can validate that, but I have been communicating with friends who's in the airline, e-commerce business. And I know one of the highest one in this area is one airline, which is an LCC. They do about 35% of their air inventory through online payment. That's the highest. If you look at this region, the payment channels are still not very moving fast. One of the reasons is because everybody was focusing on credit cards. and payment gateway and the cost. And as a customer, they never had the trust of freely transacting on credit cards earlier because of the confidence level, because of the fraud and stuff like that. Now, the payment gateway is also matured. And so what happens is today, if you take among this region, Saudi is the highest who buy online, Saudi Arabia. If you ask me where it is going to, it's daily changing, it's evolving actually. We also look at, because for us as a travel business, at the industry level also, there are changes happening. I don't know if you know, ITA is coming up with a distribution capability. And that is going to probably disrupt the traditional GDS method. Today, there is no customer loyalty on the Gulf side in terms of online. If you put a tactical promotion, if you put this one, your customer is there. The moment you pull out, there is no loyalty there. So everybody today trying to make a brand, but they also know that there is no loyalty. I mean, if I'm talking about people spending 50 million dirhams in a year purely on online marketing, and throwing out that cash to customer to come onto online platform. So what I say is the online business will not go beyond 35% or 40%. The offline is there to stay because of your online is purely happening on the B2C portal. Current product portfolio, majority of these OTAs make their volume on the travel, air travel. So what do is you get your air travel inventory from different suppliers. That's what all of these OTAs, they are not a pure OTA that they have connected or they have an ITA approval for an OTA. No, what they do, they come as a trading platform, and they get into different travel agencies who they have different deals. They make a contract with them, take their content, and they are throwing out to the customer. So mainly it's air and hotels. None of them is on a specialized way. Nobody is doing an adventure travel. Nobody is doing dynamic packaging. No, nobody is focused on. Everybody is trying to do everything actually. If you are a niche in the 10 years, if your positions in your market area with the niche product, they are going to win. All right, because we know 10 years from now, you don't know what is going to happen because of Amazon and Google. They are coming into the business very strongly. Now Google very strong will I mean at the moment what I know as a OTAs, they're coming into that line. If they come onto the line, up to the payment they will take you and they will pass it on to the OTAs there. So your majority of the work happened on a Google platform. You don't need to know who's the agent at the back end. So that's all going to change. Before talking the next 10 years, let me talk about the past 10 years, okay? The past 10 years, we are all focusing on automations, right? So automation, how it was working, it was actually getting the contents through an XML platform and an API, and then making every touch points, whatever area we can, we can automate, and so that we gain control on the business. That was the main thing. Second thing is reduce your transaction cost, your operational cost at the back. That technology is going to expire soon. I mean, it's expiring now because the new generation technology, whether it is artificial intelligence, NLP, machine learning, it's all changing. We ourselves now, we do a lot of process visas actually. Now these visas need an immigration portal is there, and that portal, the immigration will not give you an API connectivity because it's a protected security, ministry and all those things. But then if you wanted to improve your distribution, improve your transactions, you need to have somebody manually doing that work. But today we are out of it now. We are just testing. It's an AI doing with an OCR, actually doing everything. So it is replacing that, tedious job of data entry job from human being, and it has been taken over by technology. So definitely changes are coming in, okay? And the new generation technology will evolve. We were doing RPAs now, I mean, a lot of stuff. Now RPA, I was reading some article yesterday, this is going out and the new generation RPA is coming in. Your decisions today to go for a destinations, it depend on visuals. Earlier we used to do a lot of contents. You need to do a lot of writes up. Today, I don't know, I don't read what is on a website. I will see what illustration is given, what picturization is given, how best I can, imagine that destination is through VR or whatever. That influences decisions. And therefore, I think the VR and the new generation imaging, and that would be the key to market. Today, what we are doing is, it needs to change, because these tourism, what we are doing also will die soon. I was attending someone doing a presentation recently about adventure tourism. Yeah. Now, what we had when you talk about adventure tourism, what we thought is, jumping from doing a bungee jump or going to Everest. Well, he defined it very well. Whether it is adventure tourism or the current tourism, it needs to change. I mean, basically, you have to care about the community, you have to care about the nature, and then, it's all about some activities. So therefore, even what we are doing today, if we are going to showcase everything what we have, which we been showcasing the last 15 years, things will not work anymore. So I think for UAE, it's the right thing is happening. They are bringing a lot of stuff new into the market. Every day we have a new theme park or new concept is launched. So a destination like that will grow. Today, if your response is within 20 seconds, if you are not there, customer will not browse you again. If you have one booking delivery failure, you are out in that customer's face. He will not look at it. So I think this new technology will make things will change. You must have seen, in China there is somebody can check in your hotel using your mobile app today. You can select your room through this one. So I think evolutions have to come. It is going to be revolution. At this age of my career, I can't dream. But if I ask my son, who's just a teenager, he will have dreams, So it's that new millennium kids are doing it actually. Tourism has to be it needs to change. It needs to be, eco-friendly. It needs to be sustainable. You can't, run and destroy your destinations with customers who's also visitors who's not responsible. The visitor also has a true responsibility of protecting all these sites. In a nutshell, people have to continue this business. You need to take care of the local community. You need to buy them out so that they also gain from this tourism dollar what is spent there. So their responsibility grows. You as a visitor has a responsibility. You need to look at sustainability, throughout the life cycle.